so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
Welcome to Kill the Stigma. So today I want to speak about a wave that happened a long time ago, before 1947. And I want to do it because it started in November, and we have November coming up, and there's these new mysterious drones that seem to kick off in November, December. We had the Langley Air Force Base. There's a lot, but in 1896 and 1897, from November to April, there was a huge UFO flap all over the country and probably the world. But most reports were from the United States. However, there was a report from Peru that was interesting. It was an American, and he called the newspaper, and he was getting interviewed. So the weird part about this story is, well, there's a lot of weird parts, but they're reaching out to very important people, the phenomena. We're talking about governors, judges, senators, people with power, right? Politicians. And they're telling them about this invention in anti-gravity, and that this technology is going to come out. This mysterious person is just going around spreading that, and people are seeing these UFOs. And a lot of them were people, like, they look like humans. Others look like aliens. And it's really hard to say. You see in the newspaper kind of like drawings and stuff. But before we continue, let's keep in mind what the theory is. We should listen a little bit to Christopher Mellon talking about affecting our trajectory. And then we're going to listen to Valle.
Distant alien life would be of purely theoretical interest if there was no prospect of interacting with these civilizations. However, there is a large and growing body of evidence indicating that at least one alien civilization has found Earth and is monitoring us, perhaps even seeking to influence the trajectory of our development.
So this case of 1896, 1897 is very important. On this page, you'll see the entities talking about the war in Spain and Cuba, and that keeps showing up. It involves senators, judges, sheriffs, attorney generals, people of power were being targeted. And there was this inventor that was pretending really to be a normal person. And John Keel thinks he's like a Men in Black kind of thing. But I have a bunch of different sources here. I have John Keel. This is Nebraska history. They also talk about the Spanish War. So this was a message that was being sent. And this is a year before America got involved in the Spanish War. There was also a crash in Texas, Aurora, Texas, in April, which Ryan Wood, he said pretty much 99% it happened, and there was a cover-up. The government, or what, Men in Black, whatever, took the evidence, took the bodies, but there will be a picture here from one of the witnesses that was very close to the encounter when the ship crashed, and his hand does not look good at all. It's pretty bad. Look at that. That's radiation right there. So I don't know. I was going through Keel's work and found this flap fascinating. And then I'm going to show you Jack Valle talking about something like the Adjustment Bureau. Early November 1896, before the California airship excitement had erupted, an impressive stranger visited the office of a prominent attorney in San Francisco named George D. Collins. This man never identified in the numerous newspaper accounts. He told Collins that he was the inventor of a marvelous new airship that operated on compressed air. He asked Collins to represent him and help him obtain a patent. The lawyer was shown detailed drawings of the invention and he was duly impressed. The mystery man seemed intelligent, articulate, and appeared to be in his late 40s. Of dark complexion, dark eye, 5'7", and weighed about 140 pounds. He was described as being very well dressed and projected an aura of wealth. Now, a few days after the first airship sightings that hit San Francisco newspapers, Collins told reporters that he had met the inventor of the craft, that he knew all about the airship. Reporters were unable to locate the mystery man. However, he soon visited an even better known legal advisor, one William Henry Harrison Hart, who had once run for the office of State Attorney General. So they're reaching out to people that are very powerful. It starts in California in November. Then, here's where things get weird, and it connects to war. It connects to future events. Multiple of these cases with these mystery flaps keep talking about the war with Spain. You know, the Spanish-American War in 1898. The Americans hadn't been involved yet at that time. 1 year later, they would. And all these aliens, time travelers, fucking, I don't know, you know, whatever, keep talking about this war. They bring it up in many cases, and you know, there's a one that this guy's like, well, I was gonna go to Mars, now I gotta go take care of these Spaniards. What's interesting is that there's so many of these stories, right? And imagine all the stories that we don't hear about. Stuff. There was a struggle in the newspapers. People didn't want to be ridiculed. They were being ridiculed. So the reporting was an issue. But I was able to put 3 stories at least, and one coming from a senator. The one coming from a senator, we got to take it seriously because it's, I mean, a senator, so we have to do that. And that is from Missouri, Senator Hart, William Henry Harrison Hart. And the person told him this. Okay, this was, okay, so let me see this one. Before I get to that, this is crazy. I'm reading this and there's sightings in Iowa. The same inventor is going places where this flap is going on and talking to people that are important. People, but they can never find him. But he shows up to the senator. So a senator sees this mystery guy. Finally, someone that is credible saw the inventor. You know, because people were like over it. We can't find this guy. Then a senator says, hey, I talked to the guy, you know. It was April 21, 1897. I was awakened at 1 a.m, Wednesday, by a strange noise, and he was astonished to see the celebrated airship descending on his property outside of Harrisburg, Arkansas. This is in Arkansas. He stepped outside and was met by craft's occupants conversing with them as they busied themselves, taking on a supply of fresh well water. Senator Harris said there were two young men, a woman and an elderly man on board. The old gentleman. The senator is quoted as saying, Harrisburg, Arkansas Modern News, April 23, 1897, that's the source, wore a heavy set of dark silken whiskers, which hung down near his waist. He had jet black eyes and a deep, firm expressions. Where the airship occupants did not seem especially informative. In this case, they definitely were. This is how the senator quoted them. Quoted him, that person, whatever. In that paper, there was an account of a scientific invention made by a gentleman whose name I will not mention, by which the laws of gravitation were entirely and completely suspended. He was offered big sums of money for it by several syndicates in this country, and also had large offers from Paris, London, and many other places. During the time he was considering offers, he had the invention securely locked in a safety deposit vault in New York City. Before he accepted any of the offers, he was taken violently ill, and after lingering a few weeks, died, leaving his invention in the vault. This man was my uncle, and he had partially confided the secret to me, but not sufficiently for me to do. So perhaps to do anything, but not sufficiently for me to do anything without the original invention. After the lapse of about 19 years, I managed to secure the original, and having plenty of money at my disposal, and having devoted my time and talent during the past 7 years to experimenting, I have an airship, which is almost in perfection, but I am not quite through experimenting, so I continue to travel at night to keep me from being detected. I will make an attempt to visit the planet Mars before I put the airship on public exhibition. Weight is no object to me. I suspend all gravity by placing a small wire around an object. You see, I have a 4-ton improved Hotchkiss gun on board. Besides, about to go to Cuba and kill off the Spanish army. My hostilities have not ceased. But now my plans are changed, and I may have to go aid the Americans and use my improved gun. We only have to pour the cartridges into a hopper and press a button and fire 63,000 times per minute. No gravity in my way. And he keeps on going. Then he offered the senator a ride, and the senator was like, no, thank you. Can I go back inside? Have a good one. Look, and these things keep on going, and the thing is, it keeps talking about the war, the Spanish War. There's more witnesses. And remember, 1896, 1897, these people, it's not like the internet or X, that news travels fast. So anybody that wants some attention can be like, yeah, I saw that, and no, these people are legit being told something about the war. And why is it people like senators and people like in powers of attorney generals or whatever the hell it was this something going on? Was that a coincidence? Because the Americans got involved in the Spanish War afterwards, and it seems like these things wanted to aid the Americans. So, I think that's interesting.
You kind of, I mean, I've always found this about you. It's like you're extremely detailed in your writing, and then you'll like put one line in italics, which is like you have to think about it a lot. So like here you go. In 2 days after the Emperor's surrender, just 1 month after the awesome atomic test by Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, and their star team of physicists, a weird object came out of nowhere, circled in the sky over the mesquite-infested hills, as if to underline the enormity of what had taken place, or to acknowledge it, or even, in my own speculation, to open up a parallel historical and strategic path, one that superseded even the taming of the atomic force. So what do you mean by that?
You know, I mean, how many years has it been? And we haven't used the atom bomb.
Right. Never.
The
Yeah,
Russians
ever.
haven't used it.
No.
You know, there were lots of occasions where, I mean, we could have terminated the Korean War with one plane.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
The Cuban Missile Crisis. It still begs the question, if you're an alien civilization or an angelic civilization or something, celestial civilization, and you want to open up a parallel timeline, why would you do it in such a kind of tongue-in-cheek sort of way, like you drop a 3-ton avocado? That's sort of a strange way to open up a parallel timeline.
That goes into a discussion on control systems. And
I recently read Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, and he talks about the Templars and how they have the secrets of time travel. And there's an interesting theory actually by a professor at Montana Tech named Mike Masters, who says that aliens are just us from the future and they figured out time travel and they're sort of coming back in time. Do you ever think about that as a possibility? Do you think humans could ever master time travel?
Well, the idea that they are from the future is one idea. There's an idea that's more radical, is that this is all a simulation. It doesn't matter when you think about it. It doesn't matter if we are in a simulation.
Yeah.
You know, one of the great founders of AI, of course, is Dr. McCarthy at Stanford. Okay, he had the AI lab on the hill when I came to Stanford in '68, and he told a story. His story was, you know, in the future, you're going on with your job. You're selling something, you fill out a form, and people pay you. And in the evening, you go home and you watch TV with your kids. Okay? And then the next morning, you get into your car, you go to the office and you fill out some forms, and people pay you, and you go home. Okay? And then one day, you're going to get a letter from the Bureau of Simulation. The Bureau of Simulation says, "Dear sir, we have observed your daily behavior for the last 6 months, and you have not done anything that was not predicted by the model. If in the next 6 months you don't do something that's not predicted by the model, you will be replaced by a simulated human." So the guy is in shock, and you know, he tells his wife, you know, I need to do something, you know, I'm going to change my life completely. So he drops out of his job, takes whatever money he has, moves to the Himalayas, starts climbing mountains, meditates, does all the things you're supposed to do, you know, and 6 months later he goes home. A week goes by and he feels really good, goes back to his job, and there's a letter that arrives. It's from the Bureau of Simulation that says, "Dear sir, in the last 6 months, you still haven't done anything that wasn't predicted by the simulation model, and you have been replaced." So he's still there, doing his job, waking up in the morning, driving his car, and so on, but he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. He's an NPC.
He's a simulated piece of software that does all that. So,
'Cause I don't understand. Hey, yeah, Jack Valle. He's a super smart guy, very ahead of the game. I can't sometimes understand what he's saying, and let's just put our tinfoil hat on real quick. Just for fun. Let's say that this is all planned events from the phenomena. Like, how deep does that go? Jack Valle helped create the internet. And now we all have phones. A lot of people are living in their own algorithmic world. Humans are not really connecting with other humans. It's kind of crazy how our world is today, and artificial intelligence. It's a paradigm shift. And then you see these mystery drones at the same time, and they're actually interested where they're developing AI. It's nuclear plants, critical infrastructure, military, Air Force bases, whatever. Those are the hot spots, and a lot of stuff that has to do with AI. And I just wonder about that. I also, since we're doing the tinfoil hat, where you can't judge me because I'm putting my tinfoil hat on just for fun, not saying any of this is real. I remember a few years ago, like in 2020, there was a bunch of mystery monoliths that shut up all around the world. And I wonder, because there were so many of them. And if you haven't seen the movie 2001 Space Odyssey, you have to. And Arthur C. Clarke was one of these science fiction guys that was definitely getting downloads from aliens. So you gotta take the monolith seriously, But no, I wonder about that, because there were so many of them, and no one ever, it kind of remained a mystery. People started making them, and then it got kind of like crop circles, not nearly as cool as crop circles, honestly, but for a moment there, it seemed interesting. And I just wonder, how deep does it go? Is like Jack Valle was his whole life a setup? Is that what he's saying? Is that it's a simulation, and the Men in Black, like the Matrix, that's the Bureau? And then we hear about Chris Bledsoe and the Tim Taylor and the Hammer in the movie. What's that movie called? The Adjustment Bureau. That the truth is like that. If that is the case, what do you do with that? I mean, I'm here talking about it, doing a podcast, but like, I'm really like trying to think, what do I do about that? Like, oh, I'm gonna change the world. All right, have a good one. Love you guys, girls. I love you all.